After leaving work early that day, I had made my way outside the building to the busy city. I strolled along the sidewalk carrying my stuff with me as I intended to stay all day relaxing in my apartment. Though, when I glanced over at the perimeter, I noticed that I saw was Mirio in the distance. I squinted my eyes to get a better look as I hurried my pace. A bright yellow dot up ahead and saw him standing alone at the center of the path that divided the division of the hero agency from the road. It was him, after all. Once Togeda saw me, his sunny smile ran across his entire face, almost blinding to the weak. And as the heavy wind ran through his golden hair, flowing like the waves of the ocean, and breeze dragged off petals of the sakura trees across the floors surrounding him, I couldn't help but stare at how incredible Muriel looked in such an outstanding serenity. It's what I've been looking for you everywhere, he greeted Yin. Once I was close enough, I stood in front of Togeda, face to face. Me? I repeated, puzzled. Why? I have something I've been meaning to tell you, he mentioned. It's a lot to take in, so brace yourself, Yin. I stood there, wondering what Mirio had to tell me that couldn't have wait any longer. I was getting nervous by the second, seeing him avert his eyes to the side as if he were avoiding my gaze. He even swaying from side to side, clenching the back of his neck. Togeda had never acted like this, and the brief pause made me tense. I gulped, hoping it wasn't anything serious. But I already had something in mind. It's about Tamaki, he exclaimed. You see, he really likes you, like a lot. He told me that the other day he tried to tell you how he felt about you, but Tamaki was too shy to be upfront about it. My eyes widened, left speechless. I recalled the day when Amajiki came to my office out of the blue, and it looked like he wanted to tell me something really important before he bursted out. I always wonder how long Tamaki waited there for me since I came in late because of traffic. Did he spend hours inside my office waiting for me? No wonder the poor guy ended up getting so nervous in the end. It was all because of me. I see. I didn't notice. I figured the anxiety was probably too much for Tamaki to handle all at once, so I didn't bother asking about it when we met during the lunch a few days later. Though, even when we both recoiled, we didn't speak to each other much afterwards. I thought I had ruined things between us with my ignorance, so I didn't do anything about it, to not make things worse for me. I'm here telling you all of this because we made a plan, he added. You see, Tamaki called me in yesterday to talk about you, Yin. He kept on saying how much he cares about you and that you made him feel this type of way. Tamaki also mentioned that. Mirio covered his mouth with his hand before he could say anything else. Oops, I wasn't supposed to say that, he stated. My bad. Pretend you didn't hear that from me, Yin. I interrupted Mirio, signaling him to stop talking. Wait. Tamaki likes me? I hadn't processed it, but when Mirio said all of that, the feelings I felt for the shy boy rushed to my chest, my heart starting to beat faster than ever before. My cheeks burned and my legs turned into jelly. Tamaki's face, now embedded in my mind, made me realize how much I liked him, and knowing all the things he's done to confess his feelings made me all giddy and elated inside. The pro hero, Sun Eater, liked an ordinary girl like me. See, I told you it was a lot to take in. Mirio grinned happily. But yeah, Tamaki said not to tell you anything, but he's been ranting about you for the longest time, ever since your interview with him. It's kind of sweet considering he doesn't usually tell me personal stuff like that. But I guess that just means you mean a lot to him. More than anyone else, Yin. I looked down at my feet, ignoring Mirio's presence as I was lost in my own thoughts. I couldn't believe it. Amajiki actually liked me? For the longest time, I thought he only saw me as another friend. I always tried my best to get close to Tamaki, but since he was so distant and recent with the world, not saying much most of the time, seemingly uninterested by everything around him, I assumed I was just another potato in his eyes. Though, when Togeda told me everything, it all made sense to me now. The name addressing, his intention in the haunted house, our conversation in the Ferris wheel, the slice of cake and the note, the hand holding back at the city, the scarf he gifted me, our embrace during our lunch break, the day when we came into my office. Every single loving memory I had with Tamaki flashed before my eyes, and I could only stare down at the floor as my heart started racing again, so loud I could even hear it beating for him. As my mind went wild, I realized how much Tamaki meant to me that very moment, how I got sad when we said goodbye, and how I'd get happy once again when we saw each other. How much his little quiet smile made such a huge impact on me. How his nervous self only showed me how hard he tried to express himself. How Tamaki was the reason why I smiled in the first place. All I wanted to do at that very moment was to see him and tell him all of what I wanted to say now. You too like Tamaki. Mario paused. Right, Ian? I snapped out of my own trance when Togeda spoke up, immediately looking back at him when I heard his voice calling me. Of course I do. I've always been fond of him, I proclaimed. I like Tamaki so much. Good, then. My job here is done, he finished. So now, you should hear it from him next. Uh-huh. Really? Then where is he? My first instinct was to search around my surroundings. The sakura, aligned one next to the other near the path, stood tall as the leaves danced with the wind and the petals slowly fell down to the ground, creating a flower path of their own. Though behind one of the trees stood a familiar figure, looking over the corner towards me and Mirio. The tree trunk was too thin to cover him entirely, so it was easy to spot them. It was Tamaki. He probably saw Togeda and I were talking, and when he noticed I saw him, Tamaki quickly hid himself again by turning around in the other way. But it was too late. I made my way towards the tree, leaving Mirio standing, and when I looked around the tree to meet Tamaki's face, his whole body was already shaking like a leaf. I giggled, covering my laughter with my hand before I tapped him on the shoulder. Hey, Tamaki. Amajiki flinched, slowly turning his head towards me, hesitantly, as he backed away a bit. Oh, Yin, he stammered. I closed my eyes, shaking my head. I then smiled, assured by Tamaki's timid yet hilarious behavior, and stood in front of him. What are you doing over here, Tamaki? I asked, already knowing the answer to that question. I just wanted to listen to his cute stutters. I was just, he sighed. I can't lie to you, Yin. Amajiki slouched, arching his back a bit as he looked down at his hands. He started playing with them to distract himself, twiddling his thumbs around as I followed his movement with my eyes. Mario probably told you everything, so you already know that Tamaki clenched his fist tightly as he squinted his eyes, forcing himself to speak. Yin, he proclaimed, the truth is, I like being with you. When Mirio told me Tamaki liked me, I was shocked. But when I actually heard those words coming from Amajiki, my whole world stopped to focus only on him. He barely raised his head to face me, pushing himself even further by locking his eyes with mine. You make me so happy and warm on the inside whenever we're together. Every time I'm with you, my anxiety goes away for a bit. Most of it. Anyways, because when I look at you, your bright smile, my stomach turns into 1,000,000 butterflies. And as he spoke, Tamaki's entire body shuddered nervously, and he couldn't keep eye contact with me for the longest time. Amajiki ended up pushing his own enduring and heartwarming speech, lowering his head completely as to recollect his thoughts. But I saw him trying to reach for my hand before quickly drawing back, so I knew he was trying his hardest not to fall apart. "Oh God," he stammered. "I've never done this before, Yin. Am I doing this right?" I reached for Tamaki's hand myself to help him and held them, clasping his palms tightly before looking at Amajiki's squinting face. They were trembling, but they slowly became still when he felt mine. I knew it must have taken him a lot of courage to go this far, and with every word that came from his lips, my heart melted, filled with intensity. Once he felt my warmth, Tamaki opened his eyes to meet mine once more, and his adorable expression, with his cheeks turning bright red, made me want to kiss his face all over. "Don't worry, you're doing just fine." I kept quiet and patient for Tamaki, and eventually he raised his look to a bit only to stare down at our jointed hands. "Ian, I can't stop thinking about you," he muttered. "You're always on my mind, even when we're apart, and I know I'm just me. I know I'm not the bravest or the most self-assured person, but I can't see myself not being by your side." Tamaki's hand stiffed along with his body, and I gradually felt him loosen his grip over my palms. "I understand if you wouldn't want to talk with me anymore after what happened back in your office, but I just had to tell you how I felt, or else I know I'd regret it for the rest of my life." So, before I could finish, I cut off Tamaki with a kiss. I gripped both of Tamaki's wrists and pulled him down for me to be able to reach his face. I then placed my lips against the palm of his cheek, kissing him softly before letting go again. The faint smell of Tamaki's aroma lingered for a bit, his natural scent being the smell I'd never forget. "I've always liked you too, Tamaki. A lot." Amajiki's legs quivered, but not because of the cold air. He desperately rubbed the spot where I kissed him, and his entire face quickly turned red like a tomato. Yin," he panicked. I can't process this all at once." I chuckled as his flush expressed, happy that while I was still holding his hands tenderly. "Tomorrow I don't have any plans for the afternoon," I mentioned. "Why don't we go to the park? I heard there's going to be an event there. It might be fun." Tamaki glanced at me before looking away again, dejected. His pointy ears drooped as he forced a smile. "Oh," he mumbled. "I bet Mirio Nejiri would like that." I giggled, swaying our arms back and forth. "No, silly." I shook my head. "I meant you and me." Tamaki's sudden eyes brightened very quickly, hopefully. "You mean together?" he inquired. "Just the two of us?" I inched closer to Amajiki as our bodies touched, one against the other, stretching down our hands. "Just the two of us," I whispered. "It's a date then." At the corner of my eyes, I noticed Amajiki wasn't as excited as I thought he'd be. "For some reason, I always thought you liked Mirio," he confessed. "Why me, Ian? Why not him? Why not?" I let go of Tamaki's hands and reached for the top of his head, lovely rubbing his spiky hair. I had been dying to do that to his hair ever since I met him, and to my surprise, it was a lot softer than what I expected. Amajiki probably used some type of conditioner to make his hair angel-like touch to it, I thought. Tamaki's navy hair was one of the things I liked most about him. "Because Mirio isn't you, Tamaki," I told him, "and I like everything about you." He closed in one with me with a surprised expression, wanting to be reassured. "Even if I have anxiety? Even if I'm not as expressive or as talkative as most people?" I giggled again, rubbing Tamaki's slender hand with my thumb as I kept patting his head. Your shyness is what makes you you. I threw myself at Amajiki as I wrapped my arms around his torso, pulling him closer to me. Despite his heavy attire, I felt his body heat behind his clothes, resting my head aside against his chest. I wouldn't change anything about you, Tamaki. I could listen to Amajiki's heartbeat as it accelerated with each passing second. I then raised my look to meet his droopy eyes, and our eyes locked for a moment, and we saw each other. Really, Yin? He asked. You wouldn't change anything? Really? Not one bit. Tamaki said nothing, but he didn't need to show me how he felt about me. His sentimental expression said it all. Amajiki's eyes watered as he tried his hardest not to cry. He pouted his lips, then bit his lower one to hold back his tears. Tamaki raised one of his arms and brought it to his face, rubbing his eyes with his sleeve, as I heard his quiet sobs and weeps behind his soft mother. Thank you, Yin. And finally, this story comes to a happy ever after with you and your Prince Charming. And I want to say I love you guys so much, and I know this was only a 9-part story. I usually like to do 10, but please put the next character down in the comments for next Monday for me to do. I love you all so much. Bye. Mwah.